The new snapshot is here, which means it's snappity snapshot time! Now, it's been a while since I've personally made any of these snapshot videos, but I plan to return to them weekly, so make sure you like and subscribe if you want to stay tuned for what's coming in the new updates of Minecraft. Now, when I first breezed through what this snapshot contained, I didn't think it was really anything worth doing. I even contemplated making this video. But then I saw a screenshot that kind of told me, actually, there's something in this snapshot that's insanely good. And so, we're going to start with the best bit first, and then we're going to move into the bits I'm not so familiar with. So if we look out at the waterway, you may notice that there is a mist in the air. A fog is forming. And I'm not quite sure when this was announced, but in this update, if we start to turn around, we can see how the fog is actually affecting the entire world, and we can even see it better when we look over here at the mountains in the distance. Now, my render distance is set up to the highest that Minecraft will allow by default, which is 32 chunks, and that is just outside of view, and it looks so lovely. Can you imagine when you've got your forever world, you've got all of these cities and villages and whatnot, and even your friends' estates just over there? It's going to look so nice having that fog there, and that fog, I think, is going to really help the blend where the world just kind of stops generating. Now, carrying on from the fog, it says that it will become foggier when it rains, which I'm not sure what I'm going to think to this, so let's... Oh, look at that. You can see it really does dim, but it okay. I've got mixed feelings on this. I've definitely got mixed feelings on this. First of all, yes, that does look aesthetically pleasing. It does look really nice, and it's okay for the occasional view. But as somebody who's got their own hardcore series going on with a hardcore world where it's raining every single other day, well, this could become quite frustrating with no way to skip the rain. So while, yes, this does look somewhat pleasing, I do think that it would get incredibly annoying to have to deal with this every single time it rains. Now there's a clap of thunder, and it's got even darker, and I'm curious to see how this affects the thunder within it, and I don't know. It seems like the fog isn't as dense as it was when we had the weather set to rain. Let's just do a bit of a comparison there. Maybe it's because it's brighter when it rains. I mean, we definitely get a broader field of view when it rains over when it thunders. But I think that's just the dimming of the screen for the sky getting darker. I don't think that's the actual fog that's changing. So maybe it hasn't been implemented with the thunder yet. But I could be wrong. Now, that's just the big one for me, is the fog. It looks really nice. But there is another update, and I don't quite understand it, but I'll tell you about it. And this one itself affects the projectiles. I'm assuming that means the bow. So the next one has to do with projectiles, and I've been playing around with this one, and I think I understand it somewhat. So previously, all projectiles had a fixed 0.3 block target tolerance margin, which I guess means that it's going to go within 0.3 blocks off of where you shoot, or where the last one lands. But this has been changed, so the closer you are to a target, the more likely it is that the arrows are going to start grouping together. And it kind of drops off. We're seeing that very close together right there. Look, they're almost all in the exact same spot. But if we were to move a little bit away and back up somewhat, we'll aim for up here. We'll keep it exactly the same, but we should see a bit more of a spread than what we've been seeing on the side. And while they're all still grouping together, you can see it's a lot more varied here than it is over here. This is almost like one singular arrow, whereas over here we've got more of a quiver going on. Yeah, and this was done so that it could help in PvP, but also so that when you're shooting entities and you're up close, you're going to be more precise with your shots. And this has me wondering, since it doesn't matter where you shoot a mob within Minecraft, they always take the same amount of damage, is perhaps something coming in the future that means a headshot would deal more damage? I'm not entirely sure, but I want to go back to the fog, because I made a video talking about how you can play these snapshots early, and when I made that video, I found what I considered to be a really good scene. And I only like it because of this naturally generating mountain in the background, and I just had to see how the fog would affect this mountain. And I've got to say, it does look incredibly beautiful. Now, I don't want to get anybody concerned or worried with what I'm about to say next, because I don't fully understand it. I'm just posing a theory with something that I've seen in a comment. Because one of the changes surrounds TNT. And it simply states that the entity that primed the TNT is now stored in an optional owner field, as opposed to wherever it stored it before. But they've also fixed a bug 69821 that reads TNT forgets the player that ignited it when the world is reloaded. Now, I'm no wizard, but I do know that a lot of people use TNT duping machines in order to create various different farms and clear large areas in general. And while I'm making no claims that this is going to prevent that, I am curious if it is going to affect it in some way. Now, I'm no wizard, so I can't confirm or deny this theory, but it is something that I'm thinking by just reading these comments, and I'm going to keep a lookout to see if it is indeed the case, or if maybe my theories are off. I don't understand how those work. Maybe it won't affect them in the slightest. It may very well not. I don't want to cause mass panic for all you guys who TNT dupe just to get a bunch of logs, especially because I want to build one of those farms in the hardcore world. But it is a thought that's rattling around in the back of my head. Now, there are some other things that have been changed like this. Also, the Vex is now stored very similarly to who did the TNT, and there's a bug that's fixed that as well. Also, they seem to have fixed the bug that you can now stand much closer to fire without actually catching on fire. I didn't actually just realize this was a bug. I just figured the hitboxes were a bit bigger than they should have been. They've also fixed a variety of different bugs that have occurred with the happy gas, such as players falling off of it, etc. But I'm not going to go into those too much. We'll discuss those more when I actually make a video on the happy gas. It doesn't feel like this update is focused on that feature, more focused on the new, probably, vibrant visuals they're calling it. And I think the fog's going to be a part of that, especially because they've added it into the shader support. But there's no shaders yet. There's not that I can find anyway. If there is shaders and I can't find them, I'm sure that the comment section will let me know, and I will pin a comment letting you know how you can do it. But the only way I know how to do shaders is like through Optifine and various mods. So they are the important pieces of 25w19a, the brand new snapshot. They're the ones that I found interesting and intriguing, and I thought were worth sharing. But there are a couple of other ones, like they've updated the data pack to version 76. You can also put in the quick play single player command line argument. It can be used now without an identifier to launch into the last world that you used. That might be something that you put in that line where you can change the RAM and stuff like that in the actual settings of Minecraft. I don't know. I'm not a technical player, so I'm hoping that will figure out that some of you that know what that means will figure that out. But either way, guys, if you want to play snapshots yourself, I've got a video, and I'll leave it linked in the iCards up above so that you can go ahead and check that out. And I'll show you how to play these on PC without actually having to properly really download anything. It's through the generic, basic, simple Minecraft launcher, so you don't need to go and get a special launcher or anything. It is super easy to do, and that video takes you through it in quite a quick process and shows you how to do it. I'll also leave in the description down below a link to the actual Minecraft, the official Minecraft page on minecraft.net, where it tells you everything that's gone on in this snapshot for the things that I've missed out or the things that I didn't think needed to be included in the video, because, well, like I said, there's a bunch of random bug fixes, but none of them are really that important, I don't think. But yeah, I'm going to be making these snapshot videos every single Tuesday going forward now. They're a part of my schedule, and I'm writing them in. So if you want to be notified of any new updates, be sure you hit that subscribe button and hit like, and hey, consider becoming a channel member. As always, I'm KC, you are the awesome folk. Thank you so much for watching. You take care now, and I shall see you in the next one.